Hey, what's good, people? It's Rapmythology, the reincarnation of Ramakrishna, a HEYOKA empath, and I'm kicking brand new flavor in your ear, that brand new flavor in your ear. Yeah, real quick, I wanted to apologize. That last video, I got a little ratchet, man. I was pissed off, you know what I'm saying? So the people out there that do have like mental disorders or personality disorders, like I'm not trying to play you, you know what I'm saying? I understand and I'm praying for you and studying how we can cure, these mental health issues spiritually, you know what I'm saying? So I know I was a little ratchet in that last video. So I'm gonna be a little bit more proper in this one, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk properly in this video. Today we're talking about anxious, preoccupied attachment style in relationships. Anxious, preoccupied attachment style in relationships. I'm quoting from an article I found online called The Attachment Project. All right, there's three type of attachment styles. We're only going to talk about one of them, the one of them that I know that I got. So you have anxious, also known as preoccupied. That's the attachment style that I used to have. The avoidant, also known as dismissive, and disorganized, also known as fearful avoidant. Individuals with these type of attachment styles, you can get through it. You can learn about it and readjust, and it kind of fades away over time. But a lot of us as young teenagers, get into relationships and on the dating scene, like after after college, you kind of into this a lot. You might not even know this about yourself, but it's quite common in America. So it's not something that's like a majorly big deal, but having one of these type of attachment styles can cause some major harm and a rift within your relationships. All right, so let me just say this off the rip. Just the fact that I can discuss this with you shows that I've done some healing work, because I feel like some of y'all look at my page, or females will look at my YouTube page and be like, "Oh, he experienced this with this one, or he went through this with this one. He's gonna chase me and do all of this to me." You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, my spiritual sword is crazy now. My shit is like the Conan the Barbarian sword or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I be chopping like my sword look like my sword is like a lightsaber in my visualizations when I'm cutting cords and whatnot. Like, I be meditating in front of the person. You know what I'm saying? I be cutting the cord with the lightsaber and whatnot. Wow, wow, you know how it pops out. You know how it pops out the thing. Wow. You know what I'm saying? So, I be keeping it too real with y'all. I be telling you a lot of my personal stuff or whatever. But don't be thinking like you could come at me and take advantage of me because of my, you know what I'm saying, my past and my weaknesses and my Achilles heels and whatnot. Because I can see that you're doing that. Like, word. So I be cutting cords with lightsabers, alright? You know what I'm saying? Stop playing with me. Yeah, so a lot of us is going through this, man. You know what I'm saying? All my karmics was going through this. And I thought it was like me. But it's like now I can see the same things in them too. You know what I mean? So I want to show y'all 10 signs, right? 10 signs of anxious, preoccupied attachment style in relationships. Also, remember that these type of people attract people that are emotionally unavailable. So that's a big key for you recognizing that you might have this condition, all right? As if you're trying to may have a relationship with somebody that's not emotionally available. They might be physically available, but they're not emotionally available, right? Like, for one quick example is you say I love you and they don't say it back. You know what I'm saying? They might say it once, but then the second, third, fourth, and fifth time when you go to say it, they don't say it back. This is somebody who's emotionally unavailable. I want to show you these traits in the personality of anxious attachment styles in adults. One, lacking a strong sense of self and low self-esteem. Two, tendency to put others and their needs first. Three, strong desire for relationships and intimacy and hard time being alone. 4. Seeking approval and reassurance from others. 5. Clingy and needy behaviors in relationships. Clingy and needy behaviors in relationships. 6. Strong fear of rejection, criticism, and abandonment. 7. Becoming extremely upset when receiving disapproval. Becoming extremely upset when receiving disapproval. 8. Jealousy and frustration when the partner is unavailable, inattentive. 9. Overanalyzing and worrying excessively about relationships. 10. Easily ignoring or misreading signs of relational issues. Easily ignoring or misreading signs of relational issues. So an individual with anxious, preoccupied attachment style in relationships, right? These individuals are sensitive and attuned to their partner's needs, but are often insecure and anxious about their own worth in a relationship. If their loved one rejects them or fails to respond to their needs, the anxious, preoccupied attachment style person might blame themselves and feel like they're not worthy of love. So adults with anxious, preoccupied attachment style, they need constant reassurance that they're loved and that they're going to be cared for. The strong fear of abandonment might cause this person to be intensely jealous or very suspicious of their partner. This fear may also cause them to be desperate, clingy, or preoccupied mentally with the relationship. These people seek intimacy and closeness and are highly emotional and dependent upon others. Yeah, so my karmic soulmates bring this darkness out of me the most out of anybody. You know what I mean? I think there's only about three or four of y'all. There's only about three or four of you cats that could pull this out of me, man. So you're very special if you got to see this side of me. You know, this is me. I had an anxious, preoccupied attachment style in relationships. I didn't know it was there. I had no idea about it. I feel like in school, all the psychology they taught us was bullshit because you never taught me anything that could heal me. So I didn't realize that I had this issue until I ran into somebody that was emotionally unavailable. Okay, so people with this attachment style tend to attract people who are emotionally unavailable. So me running into one of my karmic soulmates and trying to figure out everything that was going on, why was this person emotionally unavailable? I began to study and do research, and that's when I figured out that I had this attachment style in a relationship. When we talk about generational curses, right, this is kind of a form of that generational curse because this happens because, right, your parents are raised this way, right, with these attachment styles, and then they raise their kids with these attachment styles, and then their kids raise their kids with these attachment styles, and nobody ever studies this and figures it out. These attachment styles just keep getting passed from generation to generation. Me realizing that I had this attachment style allowed me to break my generational curses. This was just a small part of it. So my son, actually, I affected my son with it the most, my firstborn son. And I was just trying to be the best parent in the world, you know what I'm saying? But I was overgiven in a relationship with him, and it kind of affected him and his behavior. And now we could kind of see it now. He's 14 and 15. But it's a good thing I caught this, and I could talk to him about it, you know, and kind of explain to him what's going on and kind of reach him at a different level rather than me not knowing and continuing the cycle over and over again. Another way that a child will inherit this condition, right, is the emotional hunger from the parent. So this is when the parent tries to fulfill their own needs for, you know, love and closeness rather than attending to the child's needs. Right? A parent like this is intrusive or overprotective. And they'll use the child to kind of quench their own hunger to be loved. And will present themselves to the outside world as the perfect parent. You know, and I did this with my oldest son. I think a lot of times as parents, right, we look at the mistakes that our parents kind of had with us. We be like, oh, You know, my father, you know, he wasn't around after I was 16, right? I'm always going to be around my kids. Like when they're young adults and they're young men, I'm always going to be there for them. Or in my case, like my father, you know, I was talented in basketball, but my father never really came to my games or my practices or worked out with me or sent me to a personal trainer. You know what? When I have my child, I'm gonna make sure I spend time with him, send him to a personal trainer, make sure he's nice, and you know what I mean. I'm gonna do all the things that my father didn't do, and we be thinking that we're doing the right thing, but a lot of times we overdo it. You know what I mean? Because of that lack that we had when we were younger, right? That creates the need to get that, to replace that lack with the love that we have for our children, and try to you know recreate that there. And I'm guilty. I overgave in my relationship with my oldest son to the point where he's struggling with some things a little bit now mentally. Like he thinks that nobody loves him unless he plays basketball. You know what I'm saying? I had to explain to him, like, you know, you have this God-given talent. I was like, you playing basketball is loving yourself and respecting the talent that God gave you. You know what I mean? But it's like, thank God I was able to check him and able to catch him, because I'm aware of the way that I impose my trauma on him, and I'm aware of how it affected him. So it's like I could kind of step in and heal him and try to and get him out of his mental state that he's in. But it's like I see now as a parent, and if I didn't know, the cycle might have kept going on and on and on, into where he hated basketball, you know, as an adult. So, you know, I did the most. Like, I filmed all of his basketball games, made highlight videos. You know, he's got a whole YouTube channel with videos and whatnot. I was at every practice. I was coaching. I'm screaming at him after games and whatnot. He could have won the game, but if I feel like he didn't play good enough, I'll be screaming at him after the game. You know what I'm saying? I used to be at home watching game film and screaming at him at the game film about how he messed up in the game, not realizing I thought that I was making him a better man than what I was, but not realizing that, you know, I was projecting my trauma onto him. So me just learning about this was, you know, I think a big part of me healing it, you know, because then it's like I catch myself in the act. I might do something and be like, hold up, you know what I'm saying? Why am I doing this or whatever? And, you know, think about it, analyze it a little bit, and then, you know what I'm saying, to kind of correct myself. And after like a few times of correcting myself and studying, because also too, it's like you gotta reprogram your subconscious. So you kind of like watching videos like this one, always reading about it, because you might read it one time and it doesn't really hit. Like you don't transform like that. You can write down, you know, how have you displayed this behavior in the past, right? And then once you can kind of start seeing this in yourself, you know what I'm saying? You start seeing this, recognizing this behavior within yourself, is like when you can change it. Because when you don't recognize it, it's impossible to change. You know what I mean? So just me knowing that it was there, you know, and studying and, you know what I'm saying, watching a bunch of videos, that kind of helped me unlearn the behavior. So it's very important to heal this trauma, to heal these generational curses, so that you don't pass this off to your offspring, right? And the next generation are still making these same mistakes within relationships that keep everybody from growing and getting to that next level. All right, and the real interesting part about this is that in the past life, Ramakrishna also demonstrated this behavior. One, he was like begging the Kali statue to actually show him, you know, the image of Kali. He wanted to see a real image of Kali, and he was about to kill himself because he couldn't see Kali. There's another story where you can really see this behavior, is when he first met Naren, when he first met Swami. Swami was not feeling him like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Swami didn't even believe in God when he met Ramakrishna. But Ramakrishna knew that this was his soulmate, and that they would have lived past lives and will live future lives together. Right now, Swami's my ancestor. You know what I'm saying? When Ramakrishna first met Naren, You know what I'm saying? Naren was not feeling him. Like he didn't want to be around. He was like, "Yo, like chill. Like what are you doing? You talking all this God stuff? Like I don't believe all that. Like you know what I'm saying? You a crazy man. Like you know what I'm saying? Why you keep calling me up here?" And Naren would leave. Ramakrishna would send people into the town. You know what I'm saying? Begging for Naren to come back, begging for Swami to come back. You know what I'm saying? Before he was Swami, he was Naren. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah, this is the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Because Swami wasn't interested in him. So Ramakrishna seeking approval from others, seeking approval and reassurance from others, becoming extremely upset when receiving disapproval. So I told Swami, I was like, Swami, if you would have did that to me in this life, I would have let you go. I wouldn't have been sending people after you, begging you for you to come back. You telling me you don't believe in God, and I've like magically made Swami like see God and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? The story goes is like I just put my hand on his forehead. He didn't believe in God at all. I put my hand on his forehead and did like some silent prayer, and then all of a sudden he could see everything. It was like he could see the truth after that. And he was like, "What did you do to me? What did you do to me? Get this off of me! Get it off of me!" He started running and whatnot. Got up and started running. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't want none of that in life, and I forced it on him. The same way I did with my son. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, Ramakrishna had the same issue, and I see why that was a lesson in this life that I had to get over. You know what I mean? Talking about the past lives and the current life. I just wanted to throw that up in there. But all right, people, we're gonna leave it there for now. It's Rapmythology, the reincarnation of Ramakrishna. You can call me Krish though. And I'm kicking brand new flavor in your ear. That brand new. You seen Janet Jackson? That brand new flavor in your ear. And I'm kicking brand new flavor in your ear. That brand new flavor in your ear. Peace.